Yo, what's good guys, I'm Fire here, back from the video, and today we're going to be hopping into a gun-type flex offensive scheme. Now, this is becoming seemingly more popular. I've got a couple of requests for it, so that's what we're going to bring to you today. And it is going to be a formation that I've actually ran for a while now. I haven't really ran it this year too often in like games, but I definitely ran like Madden 18, Madden 19, so your boy does have a lot of experience with this formation. Now, we're going to be in the LA Rams offensive playbook. I think it is in a couple of others, like run and shoot or some weird one like that, run heavy. I'm not completely sure, but I think LA is a pretty good one. You have like a really good bunch as well, which is always nice, but we're going to be focusing on the tight flex. Now, there's a lot of good plays in this offense, starting out with the PA post shot on that right-hand side. Then you have some things like double spot, which I'm not going to run, but you have inside high-low, bench switch, which will be in there, and then we have cross and bench. And then again, there's some other plays like wheel, counter. Now, the run's not too prominent in this formation, but you still can get in it. Here's a look at what I have for my audibles for now. Bench switch, bench, inside high-low, and PA post shot. Again, we will go over some of the other plays, such as cross, which is actually what I'm going to come out in. Now, again, I'll show maybe the counter, but the run's not really good. If you want to run the ball, you probably want to audible to something like better, either a spread or this tight slot tap back weak, and those would probably be your better options. Let's go ahead and move this camera though. All right, so our first play is going to be this cross play that we are actually running right now, and with this cross play, you're going to have a lot of good routes that I like a lot. First of all, you have almost a more real wheel route. You see how far ETN goes. If you hot route him, he's going to go significantly shorter by at least a couple of yards. So you have that. And then you have a really nice route with Calvin Ridley here. It's not even a crosser, but it's almost like just a deep over route. A route you would see someone like a Tyreek Hill run in the NFL. Then you have just a couple of drags with Kirk, Ingram, and then I like this wheel route. So generally what I'll do is just motion out this wheel, and then I'll probably just clear out Ingram, something like this. It creates good spacing and gives you a lot of options. Against cover 3, if you want, you can kind of quick snap throw this potentially. Probably throw it a little bit earlier, but that's going to be a really good high ball threat. If it's man coverage, if it's one-on-one out there, feel free to throw out that wheel route because it can be a useful route. Now, I will switch coverages. We're just going to stock cover 3 here, but this is generally the setup I like to go to. Now, you could go slant with Y. I like the drag spacing-wise. It pretty much prevents the user from taking both routes. But you have this wheel route that's really going to be your first read. If it's open, you want to throw it, and you want to pick up about your 5+ yards before contact every single time because that route will be open almost every single time. Some of the other things you have are just this quick drag, and then of course kind of the guy you want to hit is Ridley. You're trying to really open up him, so if you have the time, you're able to like step up in the pocket. You saw he was open. Terrible throw from T-Law. Looked like when he missed Zay Jones, I think, in the end zone in that Titans game. But yeah, you can also run this play stock. You don't have to necessarily do that or motion him Zay Jones out. You don't have to. You can. But it could also be a giveaway for certain setups, so keep that in mind. But yeah, pretty good kind of quick snap play. Here you see we'll just hit Christian Kirk. If it's man coverage, B should be able to beat man coverage. And again, you have that wheel route, which will be an aggressive catch option for you. Christian Kirk should be able to get open. And then again, you can quick snap ETN even if it is man coverage. So there you see the over route. You can either really bullet pass it or highball it. Both should be open. So you have a lot of options there. As far as some of the other setups that you can go to, I don't really have that many with this play. You can maybe throw like a little zig route out there instead of the wheel if you prefer. Maybe you go slant. So you can definitely mix it up a little bit spacing wise. I don't hate that. If he's setting pressure at you, you can only block one player in this formation. That's going to be your halfback. So what I would do is just block Travis Etienne. You could really run this play stock if you want, just with the 2 drag routes. I don't hate the setup, but preferably you'd run that if you have your halfback blocking spacing wise. But yeah, that's going to be cross. Hopping into our next play, we have I'm going to go to the standard bench. Bench switch is really only good against man coverage or something like a cover 2. So I will switch to man coverage for that, but we're going to hop into standard bench. Now, bench is going to be kind of the same look that you have for other formations like tight. and like tight offset tight end. So kind of what you want to do with this is just, you could just kind of run it stock, snap the ball. You have a little out route out over there on the left side, same thing on the right side. So if it's stock man coverage, you could realistically just come out here and snap the rock. If you want to get a little bit creative, what you can do is maybe streak ETN and then motion him over, and then he's on that better streak. So this setup I don't hate. And then boom, you're able to fire him right down the middle. And again, most situations, there would only be one extra guy in the middle of the field besides his user, so you can also take advantage from that perspective. But some other things you can do are, if you really want to open up the corner out, streak him. I like this route with ETN, putting him on this little out route, or you could actually probably just block him and slant Calvin Ridley. I don't hate that look. If you're able to get enough time, again, a lot of these routes in this formation can develop, so you want to really step up in the pocket. Don't drop too far back to where those edge rushers will be able to get that edge on you. Really be smart with how you're, using your mobility as the quarterback. So if you want, again, something like this would work. Just spacing out the field. You can actually kind of hit him in the seam there, which is not a bad idea. You can, same thing with the streak. I didn't throw it to Evan Ingram, but you have him on that streak to where you could really throw it to him if you wanted. So I am a fan of that route. As far as this right side, it's a little bit tricky, but maybe something like this would be not a bad setup. Or again, you could just leave Jones on a little flat or the out route, see what happens over here. He definitely does get open. Now, since it's the short side of the field, that streak works, but on the wide side, generally, you will have to motion out that streak. But overall, the play is very good. Some other things you can do, maybe motion Kirk over, actually kind of turn him into a post route, which might not be the worst idea in the world. You could actually really just run that play stock, but now you see Kirk's going to develop. Now, it takes a lot of time. If he's sending pressure, that's something that you can't do as much. The cross play would be much more effective. But let's hop into our next play, which is going to be the PA post shot, which is really the best play in this offense. Just really has everything. It has kind of the same route you saw in cross with Christian Kirk, though, now instead of Calvin Ridley coming from that other side. And then it has a really nice deep post with your boy Zay Jones. I'm going to show you a cover 3 beater right off the bat. What you're going to do is just pretty much set up like this. You're going to streak Y. I like to actually smart out X as well. So you could put your fastest receiver here, Zay Jones. Certainly not the fastest guy, but he gets the job done. And then, of course, you're just going to need a little bit of time, so you can keep that play action. What is going on with T-Law? You saw that he was kind of open. You don't have to also smart out X either necessarily. But you can really just fire it in there. You can either throw it earlier like that. If you do have enough time, he does travel across the field. But just against the standard 4-man rush, you can kind of see that I'm getting shedded pretty badly here to where it might be difficult because you can't max protect really unless you motion someone else, and you have to use the motion to get that guy outside to where it could be tricky. But yeah, I mean, you see how he's open. So if it's a 3-man rush, he would work. So that's your cover 3 beater. It's always nice to have one of those in the back pocket. Some of the other things I like to do is just this kind of standard setup. Keep Evan Ingram on you can either like streak Evan Ingram here. Spacing wise, I feel like it's a little bit better. You could leave him on the drag. And since he's motioned out, it would not be the worst thing in the world. Now, going back to other formations, you guys know I do love those motioned out slant routes. So that's the reason that I like to go to that. Usually like them on the wide side, so this play could work if you're on this hash mark as well. Generally, you'll just keep that running back on that side. So you could run it like this. Again, with A, I like to either like flat him or streak him, something like this. It kind of gets him out of the way. But this would open up Calvin Ridley a lot more to where you can actually throw that pass and complete it, pick up 5 yards, and force your opponent to worry about it with either his user, maybe cross-manning someone, but it definitely does open up something. Now, kind of like the other play, the main idea is to get this guy open in the middle of the field, Christian Kirk. Taking advantage of the middle of the field is a key part of tight offenses. A lot of people just think sideline, 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 but being able to stretch the field and open that up is a key component. So going with something like this, and again, using the pocket presence, stepping up, you wouldn't have to highball it, but highball just really reduces your odds of an interception, especially when T-Law is throwing inaccurate passes. But yeah, overall, not a bad play. If you wanted to max protect, you could actually motion this guy in. This will give you 7 blockers, maybe throw A on a little slant, something like that. But overall, you just see pretty effective play working. Kind of the last thing you can do is if you want to get this guy in a really deep corner out, which this formation doesn't really have much of those super deep corner outs. Setup like this is not terrible. Now the spacing might be a little bit tricky. Maybe I would go with just this. Or maybe you just slant Y, flat B, something like this. Just a complete flood concept. But if you have enough time and if it's man coverage, I don't know the situation. If it's man coverage, he would be a lot more open. And maybe if I do switch to man, I'll show that as well. But that's really going to do it for this PA post shot. Again, you could, of course, go with some other setups, but we're keeping things brief. Let me know if you do want to see a gameplay. I can certainly bring that. Anyways, moving on, our next play is going to be the inside high-low. I'm going to switch back over here to the right hash, and again, the corner out on the short side would develop faster. Keep that in mind. Here we got the inside high-low. This is another good play. You just have another one of those routes that's going to work in the middle of the field if you just run it stock. Zay Jones, it works better actually with him than PA post shot because him being on the outside gives it a little bit more room than the slot receiver Christian Kirk. So this play has a lot. You have a couple of routes. Christian Kirk's going to run kind of a wheel route. If you get one-on-one coverage, you could highball it to him. Other than that, you have a couple of interesting things on this side. You could throw ETN on like a quick wheel. I don't hate that. You could go back to the motion out slant concept. A is in a little bit of an interesting spot. You could just streak him, kind of get him out of the way there, and then go with something like this. But yeah, so you get one-on-one coverage. I was going to try and throw it up to Y. Man coverage against the safety may be a little bit more difficult, but this is a play that I don't run too often necessarily, but it is still solid. So something like this, just open up the middle of the field. You got two guys open. With B, you kind of want to throw that low or bullet pass it. With X, high ball it, of course, but definitely a solid play. If you're trying to really open up the wheel route, which you can actually do. I'm not sure if this will work better on this side. We're going to try it out. Maybe just throw Zay Jones on a little flat. And then again, I would probably go in route with the motion slant. But yeah. Jeez, dude. T-Law is terrible. But this concept would definitely work better on the wide side of the field. So I'm actually going to switch back. That was my mistake. But, I mean, yeah, it's a decent play. Once again, I don't run it too much. But with that being said, it's solid. Now, if you really want, again, you can motion him out. Now, the one sucky part is that you can't motion snap, but this would still open up Christian Kirk. Maybe. You really got to click on probably aggressive catch, high possession catch there, so, or caught. But, yeah, that's really it. I'll show it one more time. Just kind of the standard setup. And again, don't be afraid to throw ETN on a little wheel, especially if you have the time. Those guys kind of run nice. You see X is open. Got shedded again. But overall, pretty solid play. Let's hop into actually some man coverage now, and then we'll throw a couple of other plays in the audibles. I'm going to go with a kind of just a man blitz, so you got to hope that we do not get shedded. I'm going to throw counter in there as well. So let's come out in the bench switch play, and I'm just going to go with an Overstorm Brave. So we will, of course, block our running back. Now, with this play, I love the way Calvin Ridley runs his route. I wish we could see it pressed, but even backed off, he should kind of fry here. He runs it really fast. Now, that was actually good coverage, and with the CPU, I can't press them, which is super annoying because it makes things different. I'll give him a little bit more room to run, but you saw how fast he broke on that, which kind of gives you an idea of how good it could be against man coverage. Boom. It's just really fast. This is it in real time. It's really crispy. It looks better from this screen, but we'll try it again here, and you can kind of cut up field like that. You can go up and make a catch. I guess it doesn't work as good as man coverage as I thought, but again, pressing it would certainly make a difference, and it would I assume, be able to, you see how X works? Or he was open there. Maybe I just need to wait. Snap it again. And now he's not open. So he burned him the play before, then he doesn't burn him. Pretty interesting. My chair just freaking broke because it's a piece of crap. Or it didn't break, but it just like flung me backwards. That's fun. X, you see kind of the same old, same old. That's how you beat corner out. So probably leave him on the wide side, I guess. I thought the other route was a little bit better. Clearly not. So that's kind of your case behind it. But yeah, against man coverage, clearly you want to go this side. Same setup could work. I would maybe just go like zig route. And then again, it's interesting since it's this play, but something like this could just work. Solid setup. And then you're going to fire him over the top, rat catch, and there you go. So that's a good play against man coverage. Bench, I'll show again quickly. You probably have a little bit more space to run this. So these guys should be able to get open. Christian Kirk doing his thing, incomplete pass, but you saw the separation there. I'll show it again, this time with Evan Ingram, see if he can get some separation for the boys. And he does get just enough. So you see these corner outs should be man coverage. You guys know they beat man coverage anyway. And let's go to the run play. So we got counter. With counter, it's good. Definitely not against the blitz, so I'm actually going to switch back to cover 3 to get that a little bit more accurate. But let's go halfback counter, and I'm going to go back to the cover 3 sky. Counter is pretty inconsistent. It can have big play potential. It just depends on how the blocks develop. But right there, you see things work pretty well. We pick up 10 yards. Again, I would probably advise to run the ball or kind of switch up your thing, audibling, who knows? Or, yeah, audibling to run the ball. But another thing you can do is like motion over Kirk. This could shift the whole defense, but generally I think it opens things up. Kirk blocked nobody, so that's not really helpful. But, you know, it can be decent. It just depends circumstantially. I wish it had an inside zone. That would really take it over the top, something. But, I mean, you see, you can get holes. But overall, it's going to do a video. If you guys did enjoy, want a gameplay, let me know down below in the comments. Follow me on all platforms in the description. Make sure you drop a thumbs up on this video for more content. And subscribe to the channel. Turn on those post notifications to be notified every single time I upload. And that's going to do it. Peace. I'm out of here.